E14 podcast. We are back. First time doing a podcast in 2025 with actual baseball on the television. I guess you can call it baseball. We're joined by Andrew Zoobs. The Zoobs on Twitter if you want to find him. What's up, man? How we feeling?
Not much to find there nowadays, but oh man, I feel so good. I'm so thrilled to be here. I have been subtly stewing over two mistakes I made 48 weeks ago on this podcast, so I'm ready. I'm here. I'm ready to redeem myself.
What was it?
We're ready to do some mea culpa like right away if you want to hit those.
I famously, you had me on with YJ's last year after the very first series, and I called for a split in the second series, and they were playing a 3-game series, and the other one was expressed a ton of confidence in Mitch White, and he's already pitching in Korea. So
Yeah,
we'll bounce back. We'll bounce back.
not great. Not great. But yeah, I mean, should we address the elephant in the room? I mean, I really just want to minimize Vladdy talk for this podcast
We can't.
because
We have to do it.
no, that's what I'm saying. We should just rip the Band-Aid off and go right into it. For those of you who I guess have been living under a rock, or maybe our elderly listeners, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. did an interview with, I believe, the New York Post. Is that right, Avery?
I don't know who he
The
works
red one,
for.
red publication, whatever, no free ads, and said that he will essentially talk to every team under the sun, even potentially ISIS if that came up. But he said he will talk to any team and pretty much pushed back on his beef with the Yankees and said that, like, what's in the past is in the past. And this is a guy that said he didn't want a distraction. So didn't want to be a distraction this year. Where are you guys at with this, Zoobs? Because obviously you're probably opinionated with this one. It kind of pissed me off. I'll be honest with you.
I'm tranquilo here. I'm he's trying to make a bunch of money. That's the only thing he's trying to do is make a bunch of money. More money than he'll ever make in any other situation ever again in his entire life. He is trying to make the most money he can right now forever. So I was like, it's disappointing, but not surprising. He's still in the negotiation phase, sort of like running around as if he has a future that isn't beg the Jays to sign him next year. I'm skeptical on the market. I'm skeptical on the leverage he's going to have. But as for that specific thing, yeah, he said he wants to be a free agent. So that's what free agency is. It's hearing from all the teams. So I took it a little less emotionally. I'm a little more detached than I would be, I think, in situations.
You're a little
otherwise.
less emotional than Johnny.
Oh, what the fuck does that mean? I listen, dude. It's just annoying. I mean, I love the guy. He's probably my favorite Blue Jay since Roy Halladay, Carlos Delgado. But god damn, dude, why? Like, I understand the leverage thing, and you have all the leverage in the world, but this entire shtick, like, oh, I wanted to be here. I want to be here. You want to be here if you get overpaid. Like, let's stop with the I want to be here thing. You will go wherever the money is. And I'll say this, me and Avery, Alto, Curtis, we've been out with Vladdy. I'm consider myself a friend of his cousin Ryan. Like,
Nice.
I love the guy, but god damn it, dude. Like, the PR thing, every time you open your mouth, you're losing the fans of Toronto because you're just saying things that we don't want to hear. Like, I get the negotiation tactic, but you're just saying things I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear you might be a fucking Yankee. Are you kidding me?
It's just the negotiation way. It's so I we
Did
were
Aaron Judge do that, Avery?
Aaron Judge is different than Vladdy though.
No, he's not. He's better hitter.
Aaron Judge basically signed with the Giants, didn't he? Like,
Yeah,
he was.
Arson.
Arson Judge did sign with the Giants. Because we came on here Monday and I was just like, oh, Vlad asked for way too much. I want to like walk it. I still do think that's a fact. That is in out of my mouth. Fine to say that that's a fact. He asked for too much, but like everyone let it get to that situation. And if we can't act like he is not a complicated free agent, then we've just lost our minds. Like I hate when the national reporters get on the Blue Jays. That makes me more mad than any word that Vladdy's ever said because they'll just say the Yankees. They'll just say the Red Sox. The Dodgers, they think they've spent too much money, so we haven't gotten Dodger talk yet. But we'll get who was the guy who dropped that Ohtani was going to be Hornstra? I'm sure we'll get a Hornstra article on Vladdy
sure.
being a Dodger at some point.
For sure.
Hey,
I feel like I've calmed down a little bit as like
That's
being
good.
kind of mad at Vlad because just the number he asked for is insane. He's not worth that much, and I think every single situation besides him having the best year of his career will lead to a discount on his ask. So like I'm kind of okay.
Am I crazy to say though that I truly think the Blue Jays are the only team that can offer him the most amount of money? Like, I don't see a world where the Yankees could overpay for Vladdy. I don't see a world where the Mets, who just signed Juan Soto, like they can't have two players over $550 million on a baseball team
Who
like,
can't play defense.
yeah, and
Yeah,
the
or on
Red
the bases.
Sox, the Red Sox are gonna at some point have to put Devers at DH. They wouldn't pay Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts, I hate to say it. Is it crazy to say he's a better player than Vladdy?
He's more valuable than Vladdy.
Yeah,
That's
like-
for sure.
So if the Red Sox won't pay Mookie Betts, what makes you think they'll pay Vlad? Like, you know what I mean?
I think that's I think there's a different time in their ownership period, right?
Sure.
With all the other teams going around. Zoobs, what other free agent could you even put this close to in Blue Jays history?
It's hard, man, because like obviously the age and he's very clearly the face. I don't know that I've ever experienced this, not just as Blue Jays, but like I can't remember anything quite like this. And you really astutely pointed out, like it's easy to say it's been a bit like a sort of pendulum back and forth. It's like it's very easy to say right now. It's easy to get mad at the front office. There are people, Johnny's, you guys are both upset. You were mad about the national people. I'm always mad about the local Toronto people who don't cover the Blue Jays that will parachute in and get one off. Drives me insane. And like Raptors and Leafs reporters are just like,
there was one tweet, Zoobs. I don't know.
I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
I don't know if you know this guy. It was a Raptors reporter. He tweeted, maybe the Jays should just pay Vladdy. And then he followed up the tweet. Like the second half of the tweet was, just give my 2 cents. I'm not a baseball guy. I don't know much about baseball. It's like, maybe just shut the fuck up then. Like me and Avery aren't really talking basketball. So just kind of stay in that lane. You know what I mean? Just stay in that lane and shut up.
I think that
And
shows
plus-
though how important it is though when you get everyone on it.
It's true.
Sure.
And you mentioned Vladdy's bad PR. The good thing is nobody loses a bad PR contest to Ross Atkins. That dude is like pro bad at PR.
Is he the most like, again, I can't really fathom it because people call me a Rogers shill and all that type of shit. But like the Blue Jays in besides last year, those 3 years before that have averaged 90 wins a season. And they talk like Ross Atkins is the GM of the Colorado Rockies. Like they have won game, like they have been a good team aside from last year. But people genuinely talk like this dude is the worst to ever do it. Like it's crazy. And again, I'm not saying he's a great GM, tons of mistakes, but he has put on the field good products, right? Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, I feel that. It's a crazy situation. As much as Vlad's current ask is way too high, and there's no like everybody wants to do Juan Soto money, and still time to do Juan Soto shit. Like even the Yankees didn't pay Juan Soto money. Only one team was willing to pay Juan Soto money. So it's very easy to say Vlad's ass is out of control. It's also very easy to say this team had a chance probably to re-sign him a few years ago to a number that would have felt like an overpay and then would have felt like a really good pay.
Yeah,
he's just never had enough time in the entire time he's been here, which is the entire length of your first set of contracts, to clearly, we still really don't know what he's going to be this year, right? I think everybody's optimistic. It seems like it was figured out. It seems like all the stuff that you want to see for him to be a long-term great hitter is in place. However, I don't think any of us would be surprised if it was June again and he had like 6 home runs, which was the case
forget
last year.
Zoobs. Like last year, the dude had 5 home runs in 2 months. Like he had 5 home runs in 2 months, and then he went out with us and he turned into goddamn Babe Ruth.
So, but good luck wherever he goes next place. They have to fly you guys.
I mean, yeah, we'll take the trip if he makes as much money as he thinks he's going to make.
We'll take the trip. But anyway, so I said I wrote a Vladdy song. I didn't. I actually just typed it into Grok on Twitter. But I did help with the making of the song. So here it is. I'll sing the verse and the chorus because like it's way too long.
To the tune of what? To the tune of what?
I don't
song?
know what the tune of it is. I'll let the people decide. Like maybe someone can make a track of it. But here it is. So yo, Vladdy's in the batter's box. I'm swinging for the fences. Front office sitting quiet. Y'all lost your senses. Mashing dingers every night. I'm carrying this squad. While you're counting pennies, man, your vision's flawed. I'm the prince of the plate, the king of the north. You're trading my dreams for a budget report. Hitting 300 plus on the heartbeat of the Jays, but you're skimping on the roster, stuck in your cheap ways. So that's the first verse. And then on the
budget
chorus
report was a bar.
Oh, Toronto front office, what's the deal with you? I'm Vladdy Guerrero bringing heat to the crew. You're sitting on your hands while I'm raking every day. Build me a team or get out of my way. Okay, verse 2 is kind of a banger. I'll come into this one. Ross Atkins Shapiro, y'all move too slow. I'm out here dropping bombs. Where's the payroll though? Teoscar's gone. Simeon too. You let him walk. You let him walk. Now I'm stuck with scraps, and you expect me to talk. Bars, bars from Grok. Bars from Grok.
What things did you have to put in there to get all that?
I put Vladimir Guerrero Jr. diss track to the Toronto Blue Jays front office.
Okay.
Like I have tons. Like I have like 4 or 5 poems. Maybe I'll do a video on them tomorrow. But yeah. So people who saying like Johnny, you're turning on Vladdy now. I just gave you a material, a poem, to go at Ross Atkins. So you're welcome. But yeah, I was pissed off yesterday. I'll say it. I kind of let it get to me. But
what haven't you let get to you from this situation recently? It's eating at you.
Oh, it is eating at me. Because this is the thing, right? Like I tweeted this. Like this is like your wife requesting crazy shit. Like I want you to clean the house. Again, that's not a crazy ass.
Clean the house.
For the record, are you married?
I want all this shit. And then you go, can we compromise maybe? Like the last 2 years haven't been that great. And she goes, no, I want this. So then you go to her, it's like, I'm going to start liking other girls' pics then. Like I'm going to start trying to wheel other girls while I'm with you. And it's just a terrible situation. So I was I was annoyed with Vladdy.
I'll say that's not your best analogy so far.
This is a marriage? This is a marriage you're describing?
Okay, wait. Maybe she's the one going out. Oh no, yeah, she's the one going out liking other dudes' pics. Sorry,
there you go.
That makes more sense. That makes more sense. She's the one doing that. Sorry, Vladdy has me in a fucking blender. Okay,
I know he's got you. You stood on your business as much as you could for so long, and you got fucked.
Well, I said 90% chance he signs here. Are we forgetting that?
You were King Sarcasm. You're no better.
That's still on the table. That's still on the table. That's still on the table.
This is my tier list. So the biggest thing that's pissed me off is the Mets fans who have talked themselves into him being a Met. That's clear 1-1. The Red Sox, Yankees, like I made a list and I put the Red Sox at 3 for terrorist teams that Vladdy will go to because I cannot deal with my Twitter if he signs the Mets. Like that's just where I'm at with that.
But I think it's like actually the best for.
Well, no, it's not. It's not for my mental health. Not for my mental health because I have the Mets guys with the painted on beards tweeting at me. So, Zoobs, can you make a terrorist list, Zoobs?
It's Red Sox. Red Sox at the top because the last 21 years has been them just like falling ass backwards into World Series. Sometimes they have these ones they really deserve and really fight for, and then they don't deserve a couple of them, and you're just like, this is not what the Red Sox is supposed to be. If they go from being the team that doesn't pay Mookie Betts and being the team that sort of like they're a money printing machine, so it doesn't really matter how good they are. If they become the team that just decides like, hey, we're going to go back to competing in the AL East, and it starts with signing Vladimir Guerrero Jr., it just feels like the Jays team is just like, we're back to just being not really a major league team. Would be really difficult to suffer through. I've done it before, but a lot older than I was last time I had to do that.
Will be.
That was the same as Ricky though, right? It's always his thing is he hates the Red Sox more than the Yankees.
I think I do too.
Yeah, that's just I haven't got that while I watch ball.
I can't get there.
I'm not there because we are now watching ball like you guys were when the Red Sox were good. Sure. Every single game, locked in all the time. It's never been like that for me. So I would like to hate both of them, so I'm fine to get on board with that.
Well, Avery used to be a Yankee fan.
That is not true.
Some of his Jeter tweets. People forget.
I love Jeets.
I congratulated him on 3,000 hits. As you should. As a
seen that cuck chair, Yankee fan. I am. I just hate the Yankees. I really like. I can't. If he's a Yankee, man, they removed. By the way, they are talking like they removed the facial hair policy, and fans are talking like now it's fair game for every single free agent that's ever existed is going to be a Yankee now because they removed the facial hair policy. And then Aaron Judge comes out after and says like, if this was stopping you from coming here, you shouldn't be a Yankee. All right, man. Your closing pitcher legitimately said it would have affected his decision to sign with the Yankees. But yeah, the facial hair policy was the most pathetic thing of all time, right? Like we can all agree on that.
Very funny, but it's like you have something that's unique, and that makes it kind of cool in my eyes too. It's like if you're gonna keep doing something dumb, just do it dumb forever. I kind of just think it's funny.
It's the old
Yeah,
Wrigley not having a video board thing for me,
that's
where it's like Wrigley shouldn't have a video board. It's wrong that they do upgrade.
I
And
do like that.
Wrigley Field no lights too.
That's
Yeah.
sick. That's
That
sick.
was
I do like
cool.
the fact that Wrigley sticks to their 2 o'clock games. I could respect that. Like
It is nice to gamble on Fridays if they play
Yeah.
at 2 Eastern. I do.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. But anyways, that was Vladimir Guerrero Jr. talk.
I
As I said-
got more Vladdy, I think.
Really?
For Zoobs. Yeah.
I have a scenario to play out for you guys too, but I'll let you go first, Avery.
Okay. What does Vlad sign for years total number, you think, at the end of the day when all's said and done?
I'm so not smart.
I have no idea.
It's so hard for me to do basic math.
Just do AAV for if he gets we'll call it he does 12 years instead of
What was
13.
he was asking for what did we establish he was asking for?
45.
45, and they were stuck at what, 38, 37?
So they offered 34, 1034 or 10340, and they said they went over their valuation, so I guessed they were at 37 or 38 maybe.
I could see them settling it at why would he not come down to 38 after this year? It seems unlikely, but so I guess it seems like 40 is just a nice big easy number, and as we move into the future and if inflation hits, that'll seem less painful than it does. So yeah, 40, I guess. It's really hard to know.
Do you think it'll be worth it in the end?
Almost no chance. There's almost
Yeah,
no chance.
I am literally going to say, unfortunately, 0.0% chance, but it's going to make the fans happy for 5 years. And that's essentially a good pat on the back to the boys up in the front office. But I'm going to say 42 million for 14 years.
Oh, shit.
Lord.
Okay.
I mean,
it was a question I asked and you gave me the answer. Thank you.
I think that's what he gets, man. I think the Jays.
What does he do this season then, John?
Unfortunately, fellas, the Jays got to pay the AL East tax. Because if I'm Vladdy, I'm going, okay, I'll go to the Red Sox. I'll go to the Yankees unless you guys pay a little bit of tax here.
They have to offer it, though, right? The
Red Sox and Yankees have a better future than the Toronto Blue Jays. That's just what it is. They have the Red Sox have an insane farm system, number one prospect in baseball. They just signed Bregman. They're going to lock up Crochet. The Jays are, I'm an optimist, but unfortunately what it is they're in better positions than the Jays. And Vladdy said his biggest thing is winning. Lie detector test proven that's probably a lie. But
winning negotiations,
winning negotiations. But yeah, I think it's gonna be like 42 million, 13, 14 years.
It's obvious with some of those teams, they're just like the graphs are going in different directions.
Yeah.
And you can sign players and have guys break out to change that. But we thought the Red Sox were ass. I did, at least going into last year. And they've been a complete 180. So it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, the deal's going to be massive no matter what. And then it's a first baseman who's been bad at base running in his age 24, 25 seasons. That's not going to get better. But that's just where I would like to have him on my baseball team at the end of the day.
So let me tell you what I think, because you have a big platform and I want to get this prediction out on wax. Because I think I have my biggest concern as to how this is going to play out feels like how I think it might actually play out is there's a very good chance that Ross Atkins gets fired at the end of the year. You'd agree with that, probably?
Yeah.
So they're going to hire a new guy, and the only thing they're going to tell the new guy is you have to sign Vladimir Guerrero Jr. That is the only way you are going to start your tenure on a positive way, because they're not going to let Ross trade Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at the deadline if they're firing Ross Atkins, and they're not going to trade Vladimir Guerrero Jr. if they are in a playoff spot. So if it's all coming down to that, this new guy, you talk about Vlad having leverage now, he's going to know that a new GM has to sign him. That's my fear. That's my fear, is this whole team that they've built, this whole window, Shapiro, Atkins, say what you will about them, love them or hate them, it all ends at the end of this season, and they might really screw this entire organization around here with how this all plays out. It's a harrowing season we're about to
and essentially, Zoobs, like, you want to talk about backs against the wall. This is Ross Atkins' last dance. Like, I think it helps his case if he extended Vladdy. Like, I think there's a case you can make for Ross Atkins to say, and Vladdy knows that. Vladdy's going 0 playoff wins in like 10 years. We've never won a playoff game under you guys. 2016, I'm not counting, by the way. That's Double A's team. But yeah, Vladdy knows is like, Ross, buddy, like, I'm not an idiot. I know that if you don't extend me or Bo, you're done. Like, you're essentially done. So
I also think, John, there's not a single chance in the world they trade him.
No, I've said that since day one. I don't think they trade him.
If you ever want him to come back, you cannot let him get a taste of, I don't know, the Tampa Bay Rays for 50 games. Like, it's so bad. I just don't.
Well, you can't give him a hall pass.
No,
how about that for a fucking analogy? By the way, Avery, was that a good enough analogy for you?
Back around.
This is my thing. I saw a tweet, by the way, one of the generationally dumbest tweets of all time. Someone said, how about you trade Vladdy, but before you trade him, you say, listen, Vladdy, we're trading you to get tons of assets back for the future, and then we're going to re-sign you in the offseason. And Vladdy's going to be like, yeah, I'll
great.
Yeah, sure, man. I'll just move my family to wherever the fuck you trade me, and then at the end of the year, I'll sign with you. That's never happened in baseball.
Well, you know where he can do that, John?
Where?
Tampa Bay Rays. He has got a house there, remember?
I forgot about that. Yeah, the Mets
doesn't have to move his family at all.
But
do the Rays play in Tampa Bay?
No, they don't.
They will this year. They will this year.
But the trading Vladdy thing, and that is essentially throwing the white flag.
Yeah,
I
think you're cooked.
You're done. Like, you're done. And then Vladdy, he said that the door's not closing. They're going to still negotiate. I am coping really hard and saying they are still going to negotiate this year. I'll take that to the grave.
Yes.
But
if the team's bad, why wouldn't you just spend all of September trying to get the deal done? It's like, okay, sorry, second straight season where we're ass, but we're going to start to try and give you more money here.
Yeah, the only team that has to sign him. Other teams can want to sign him. The Jays are the only team that has to. They had, after all the guys they were runners up on, and as funny as that became, and as not funny as that became as it went on, Vlad can't be the last one on that list. It can't be the runner-up for everybody, including Vladimir. He has to be the one guy that they said, okay, this is the line where we're not getting outbid. And that plays in his favor, and that is why he's telling you.
He knows that.
How bad does he get booed if we're the runners-up and offered more money and he signs with someone else?
Nuclear.
My God. Like,
I mean, they clean house as well.
Do you remember when people were getting mad at the Jays booing Ohtani? Like, shut the fuck up, dude.
I'm all for that.
Just boo everyone. I feel the fans
awesome.
like, again, we're Canadian, so it's like, I hurt their feelings. I don't give a shit. The guy's making $700 million. I'll boo whoever the fuck I want who's making $700 million. But yeah, Vladdy, I know he's universally loved here right now, but he signs elsewhere, especially in the AL East. The fans, like, one, we're going to go through hell. Two, Ross Atkins might have to go into witness protection if that actually happens. Like, that's like worst case scenario for Ross Atkins, by the way. If he goes through the AL East team, fans will not cope. They will not find they'll not find anything positive out of it, even if they sign another guy. Like, this is it. If Vladdy goes to the AL East.
Zoobs, at what point of the year are people going to ask for Bo to be signed over Vladdy?
Well, they didn't even call him back, is what I'm to understand. Is they were like, yeah, we'll let you know, and then didn't talk to him again until spring. Is what said.
He said they usually negotiate in spring. They just haven't talked. He's like, he
don't have it on me.
It's like, yeah, you made a good point in our group chat. You were like, Bo silently whispers in the media, they didn't offer me anything. It's like
nobody cares.
I feel bad for Bo because I genuinely do think Bo Bichette this year, I tweeted it multiple times, I think he's going to go off. Like, I'm talking the hits leader. I saw a video of him today launching a baseball off Kevin Gausman.
He's thick again.
They've done an interesting job, those two. Like, when you compare and contrast them, it's been like 5 years of everyone just being like, well, Bo's going to free agency and Vlad wants to stay. And we just everyone's just accepted that at absolute face value, right? There's been... No matter what actually happens, no matter how negotiations actually go, the fact that Bo forgoes arbitration for 2 years and just gets it out of the way and says, "I'll just pay me and we'll deal with it later," and Vlad and the front office get dragged through it every single year because they can never see eye to eye. It's always been everyone just like washes away. Bo wants free agency, Vlad doesn't, and just we have almost no real actual support behind that other than people inferring from body language. So I think that's very interesting. As you point out, no one's even cared that they have an extended vote. Do I think people will be clamoring for it?
I think so,
if,
Zoobs.
if he's
I
red hot,
really do.
I do. But I think people are more trained to just believe Vo is not happening. There's obviously going to be an amount of people that are just like, they like to imply that it's the easiest thing in the world. Just sign Bo, as if there is a magic like way to flip that switch. But I'm with you, Johnny, that I think Bo is going to have a really big year, and I think if you have both Vlad and Bo really motivated to make a ton of money, isn't that kind of the entire way that this ship is built to be? That's the whole point of the team. Is Bo and Vlad play well in their prime, and they're
Never
good
happened.
enough. I know this is the year it has to happen, and they have all the motivation in the world. Like I know that there's a lot of doom because they were a very bad team last year, which was a bit of a papering of the records. They essentially tanked down the stretch. I think I'm more optimistic than most people on like the general direction. I see the 5-year body of work of like generally a fairly good team. It hasn't all clicked at once. It either all clicks at once this year or it all implodes. So we'll see.
I think it's just so interesting that Mark and Ross, they've obviously been patient through all of this. They never were quick to the trigger on a Vladdy deal when he was not doing it. So now the only thing they get to do is sit back and watch their best players make a ton more money. And they're going to have to come to the bargaining table with a lot of money, or they're going to have to see him walk. So I think they just handcuffed themselves at this point, the front office.
Yeah, it's what sucks is, and again, if I am Bo, I'm probably a little bit angry of it, even though he's a Vladdy guy and he's really good friends with Vladdy is Bo has been consistently good more than Vladdy has. Like Bo has put together a 2 or 3 season string of really good years, right? Like Vladdy has been on, off, on, off. I mean, we're 1 year removed from a season he had like a 1.4 WAR, right? Like that's not a knock on him, but it's not good. So Bo has to be a little bit angry that there's not a little bit more of an uproar that this guy's not re-signed, right? Like, is that a crazy thing to say?
Yeah, if we just go 2021, 2022, 2023, he's a 4.9, basically 5 win player 2 years in a row. 2023, 4 win player, and then last year just a disaster.
Like those are good numbers.
It's great numbers.
Vlad is a year removed from a 1.3. Bo is a year less than a year removed from a 0.3.
0.3.
But an injured
81 games though. Vlad played most of it.
Vlad played most of it.
Okay, so 81 games. He could
double
0.6. 0.6.
Yeah,
Okay, no, hold on.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a Bo guy, man. I really believe in Bo Bichette this year. I don't know what it is. I just think this is with the Toronto Blue Jays fans' luck. Every year they have not clicked at the same time. They're going to click at the same time in a contract year. And that is just what is going to happen with the Toronto Blue Jays. Like I'm talking Vladdy hits 34 bombs. Bo hits like 25. Really good defense or good defense at short. Like 195, 200 hits. And we're sitting with our dick in our hands going, both of these motherfuckers are going to walk because they're going to ask for a shit ton of money.
Yeah,
that is what is going to happen.
CB kind of said the same thing in our chat all the time. He's like, "Oh, I don't think it's going to be that big of a distraction the whole time." I disagree. I think it's the biggest distraction of all time. Unfortunately, it's all everyone. When you write about the Toronto Blue Jays, it's like, wow, 12-game win streak. That's so sick. But the 2 reasons that this game win streak's happening, they're gonna be gone potentially. I think it's all anyone's ever gonna write about this year.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Wait, 12-game win streak. When is that going to happen?
Well, that's going to happen to start the year.
Yeah, no, it's going to happen in May.
I hope so.
It's going to happen in May. I believe in this team. I'm spring training pilled. I'm spring training pilled. And are we done with the Vladdy talk? Do you guys have anything else? Because I know people are probably punching their steering wheels right now because they've heard it on every single podcast that's ever existed. But
I decided not to listen to Vladdy talk on other platforms, so I
don't listen to other podcasts.
Yeah, it's
Couldn't imagine.
Yeah. But okay, let's go into some spring training overreactions. Spring training started. Jays are 2-0. I spent 30 minutes yesterday trying to figure out algorithms on how the Toronto Blue Jays, like, they got to win game 1, lose game 2, win game, like, to replicate really good seasons. And they kind of went against that today, coming back against the Red Sox prospects. Fuck it. Like, again, they'd ruin everything. But where Zoobs, what is your overreaction so far from spring? 2 games in, let it fly.
Relvis has got to be here the whole time.
Fuck,
Good teams for good teams. Relvis Martinez works. It's just how it is. Like the good franchises that the Blue Jays want to pretend that they are. Guys like Relvis Martinez hit, and they just need it. They need the guy that is raking and is flawed, and all the reasons not to play him, but you can't not play him because he hits so much. That has to be this year. They don't have the time. Some team in the AL East every fucking year has like a 20-3 start. It's the Rays, it's the Red Sox, it's the Yankees. Doesn't matter who it is. It's never the Blue Jays. Orioles did it in the last couple of years. It's never the Jays, and they're always very patient. They always want to make sure a guy can check every single possible box. That time is over. Relvis has to be here the whole time. He just does. Even if he's going to strike out against good pitching, even if he's going to have days where he looks terrible, they need the boost. And the other one is I knew that I would love Andres Gimenez, and
yes.
I do. It's not a bit. It's. I know it sounds like a bit. It's just like one of my favorite kinds of baseball
Hall of Famers.
I was
the kind of
saying,
guys I love to watch.
when he singled like a jam shot over the shortstop and then immediately stole second base, and Vladdy goes backside and he scores. It's just like, that's creating offense. We couldn't do that worth a shit last year.
Avery, this is my thing. Like, let's say Andres Gimenez has a good spring. Are you comfortable putting him at leadoff because of the fact that he pretty much goes in scoring position every single time he touches first or close to it?
See, my thing would be, let's party at the bottom of the lineup with like Ernie and Andres Gimenez if we're going to do that.
Fair.
Like, let's have some fun and play a whole different style at the bottom where we can hit and run, we can bunt, we can steal bases, and then let the guys who should do what they've done for the past couple of years, let them handle that at the top. Like, he should be
Springer,
our 8.
Though?
I mean, I'm probably putting Springer at the
Oh my god.
That's the life we live. This is the life we live.
If Andres Gimenez has a 380 OBP, yeah, he's leading off. But Andres Gimenez has a 305 OBP pretty much the last couple of years, besides his 6th season he had. You can't put him at the top with those type of numbers. But again, if he surprises us and he finds a way to get on, like, again, like I wanted Horwitz to lead off by the end of it too. Like a guy like that. We want Will Wagner kind of do the same thing, but the best Jays team has George Springer going well, and if he's going well, he's going to lead off.
Yeah, I mean, there's a better chance I have good vision based off of the last couple of years. But
I think we get one last good one from George.
You think we got one last?
Last
goodbye.
People want him to stop playing totally, and he has to understand that people want him to stop playing. And if he cares about his craft, like we all think he does, I think he's got one more good one.
I saw a hilarious True RGM tweet where
all of them are hilarious, by the way.
All of them are funny, but George Springer said he's willing to do anything to help the team, and True RGM said, "What about retire?" I was like, that is a good bit from True RGM. We are George Springer guys. He's the first guy to sign here. Obviously, I have a connection with him in terms of the fact that he was a massive free agent. I pissed my pants for him, but yeah, it's the time is slowly starting to come for Georgie boy. Avery, what's your overreaction so far?
I'm worried about Yariel. Just I want him to throw strikes. That's just like where
it's his first start, man.
I know, but it's an overreaction. It's not a real reaction.
Okay.
If he goes out and he's in the zone a ton next outing, you just throw that out the window. Who cares? Okay. But just like you just want him to attack. It was the thing when we went out with some of the Jays guys. They said Yariel's stuff is insane. Yeah. It's like they got to figure out a way to pitch him there. I'm worried about the AAA starting pitching depth. I'll say that they have none. Bloss, I wasn't thrilled about today, but if his velo is going to play up consistently, I think he'll be all right for a guy who hasn't played much in AAA. Are you going to say something about prospects? Can you give us something, John?
Congrats to Elvis for hitting AAA pitching. And I got to keep this bit. Like, I've had the bit for a year now, and
it's your worst bit. I hate it.
People get genuinely mad at me about this. I will push in a little bit. Alan Roden kind of rocks because his swing is so dog shit. It's like how is this guy hitting this baseball with that swing? I don't get it. I really don't
He
understand it.
creates angles with his legs and arms to get to pitches at the bottom of the zone that you just can't do anything with, I think. It's just like we're gonna hit ground balls down
I
here.
think if you showed Alan Roden's swing to someone watching baseball for the first time, they'd be like, "What the fuck is that?" Like that's what they would say if you watched Alan Roden
He's a
swing.
good scrappy player though. I like his play.
He plays the game the right way.
Yeah, I like his
As-
play
as-
style.
and this is my overreaction. I think you guys are gonna like this one. Alejandro Kirk is gonna be top 3 hitting catchers in baseball this season. Weighted runs created plus wise. Two, and let me give you a reasoning why on this. Last year, Vladimir or Alejandro Kirk had 4 balls hit over 109 miles an hour. On Saturday alone, he hit 2 baseballs, 109, 110. His approach looks good. This is an overreaction. We saw 3 at bats or 2 at bats. His approach looks good. And he messaged one of our guy, Alejandro Kirk memes, saying he's going to be the best fucking catcher in baseball this year.
That message was so sick.
And I am ready to run through a brick wall. I am all in on Thick Jesus this season. All in. First time being the #1 catcher of this team with no guy behind him.
Can we are we worried about who's gonna back up catch?
Oh, Bethencourt is one of the worst defensive catchers I've ever seen.
That's always good.
The swing wasn't very good either. I mean, he wasn't dialed today. It was one game. But God, does it feel good to watch baseball? There's a question in the chat. Sorry for the Twitter. What time do you guys turn off the games?
Oh, well, probably the 4th inning for me.
Yeah, first time somebody appears on the screen while like either the pitcher or the shortstop or the hitter, where the number is in the mid 80s, I go, all right, was this 86? That's good. I'm good to go.
But that was like, yeah, that's kind of when today happened because Kasevich is wearing like 74. McAdoo's wearing 86. His swing, he did not look dialed at this point.
No.
Bloss came in. Ryan Jennings, a guy I liked, pitched today, but then the guy after Jennings, I said, I've never heard of this guy ever before. And I like coping by saying, like when Alex Bregman hit the home run off Andrew Bash, who I don't really know who that is. It's like, well, you're supposed to do that, dude. That's not even impressive.
It's a good cope
at all.
It's a good cope.
It is so good to have the sounds on in the background too while you're scrolling feed in the 7th or 8th inning and to just have that.
When a guy comes in the game with an MLB The Show name, that's usually when I'm like, I'm out of here.
You should also know when you see the double flaps on the helmet because he's in minor league.
It's like when
that's true.
It's just like when Steely McGee comes in the game and I'm like, who the fuck are you? I have no, and they show his stats. It's like hit 220 in A last year. Like the guy that pitched for the Red Sox today, I don't know why I was watching that game because I said it was a must lose actually. It showed his high A stats, and I was like, what in the hell is this dude pitching at a big? You couldn't find another arm to throw?
That's what they do sometimes though in spring. They take like 3 minor league guys and put them there in case the major league guys can't get out of innings. And that's when you
Zoobs, what week of spring do you start to be like, I really need this shit to be over? Because for me, it's the second week. Like once we leave Dunedin, I'm going to be like so into baseball at that point. We're going to be so into the content part of it. I'm going to be like, I can't watch. I can't watch Jake Bloss again. Like I just sent him to AAA. Like let's get this season going.
Anything in March. Once we hit March, it stops being a novelty and starts being like, all right, how many more of these do we have to go through? Like, without a doubt, it goes to the last spring training game is March 23rd. It's a full month from today. That's bananas. Because we're gonna have another not a full week because it's only shorter month, of course, in February, but like we're gonna have a full work week of games this week, which is I think the really good stuff. When it's on during the day, during the week, that's the really good stuff. At least it isn't stealing your casual time. But yeah, anything in March, especially like the March 10th to 20th is like all that can happen here is somebody can get hurt. Nothing good. There's no good thing that ever happens in spring training other than somebody getting hurt.
Who do you think at the end of camp is a surprise off the roster and a surprise on the opening day roster, Zoobs? Because in my head right now, it's like Davis bubble guy, and like we need him to have good spring.
Yeah, I think my and this is I'm projecting my own hopes and dreams here is like I wonder if at the end of this we're all convinced that Will Wagner is like should be every day or like close to every day, like get in the lion's share of whatever rotation they're gonna do in sort of the not so filled in positions. That's maybe wish casting because a lot of the stuff is a little bit more sewn up than it was before they made their last few moves. So it's a tough one. It's probably going to be bullpen chattel, which I it's very hard for me to even emotionally connect to bullpen relievers. No offense to any of them listening to this, but
I feel like it's pretty set, honestly. The bullpen with the
almost too many guys, right?
With the Yarbrough last piece, it's like okay.
I think Yarbrough's guaranteed to make the team.
I think so feel like too. The Yarbrough of like guests on this podcast, where it's like people like, oh, I'm glad he's around. Obviously, I don't throw the heat like everybody else that comes on this show. The athletes, the people that are coming on next week, you're gonna be at spring training. I'm sort of the eating some innings, but like some people like the funky delivery. I think
we needed you. Like when I'm in a bad spot, I text Zoobs, and it's like mentally with the Vlad thing, I'm in a bad spot. I need Zoobs here.
Yeah. Zoobs is the listen. Every podcast needs a Zoobs guy, like like a locker room guy that is actually sneaky good. Like that's actually good at what he does. Like that's what Zoobs is. Like Zoobs is good at what he does, but he has a beautiful family. It's like me and Avery are degenerate. I'm a loser. Like I just this is my life. Like this is my life. The Blue Jays dedicated my life to it. I should get some sort of fucking Purple Heart from the Toronto Blue Jays for this shit. But yeah, like the people love Zoobs, and I just came across a tweet from Zoobs on Saturday, I believe it was. The Boons tweet. I had no idea.
I had no clue about those either.
You want to let the people
guys are probably in high school
tweet.
when I tweeted that out.
Let the people know what this was, Zoobs. I mean, this is an all-time tweet.
God, when did this even come out?
2014, I want to say.
2014.
Yeah, I was in high school.
You guys were in high school when I was tweeting this shit. I was already full time in the sports media business. I was absolutely out there grinding. It was an automated text, one of those classic. You can just see from the tweet itself how old the interface on my phone is. Like I'm clearly rocking like a BlackBerry Pearl. I believe it's my body has 206 boons. Want to give me another one, babe? Of course, meaning bones. Let's say I tweeted about that 15 times in the next 8 minutes.
It's so good when I see the replies to that, and it's just Blake and Ricky still.
Yeah, it's like the same guys that are reply guys now.
A lot of people have deleted their accounts it looks like I'm replying to myself. But yes, it is the boys remain.
Can we do this thing that I hate doing it, so I'm going to make Zoobs do it?
Yeah.
Can you give us our opening day starting lineup?
Oh my God!
I hate.
Hold on. Did you guys give a surprise on and off the roster? I feel like I sort of fumbled that question. I said Will Wagner, and I agree that Davis. Yeah,
I'm not going to go Avery Shenyenbone and get a text message from one of our friends saying "What the fuck?" because Avery's been that designated guy. I think surprise.
I want him to do well. Like he just needs to have a good spring.
Yeah, I think surprise off the roster, which is going to be objectively funny, is I don't think it's really a surprise, but I think Miles Straw is just like he's not even going to make it. Like he's batting 1,000. He's batting 1,000 to be fair. But yeah, I think Miles Straw is one of those guys, and I think honestly, surprise on the roster. I think Alan Roden makes the team, man.
See, I'm the opposite. I don't think he makes the team.
Really?
Yeah, I don't. I think you do the Spencer Horwitz thing with Roden. Do like same blueprint bar for bar,
but they need guys that can consistently hit.
Sure, is he just gonna like hit singles though? Do that type of thing?
So you think Arelvis? Would you say Arelvis is as close to a lock as possible to be on this team?
I want Arelvis on the team over Alan Roden at this point.
Okay. Yeah,
like someone's got to play defense in that outfield, right? Like,
well, Santander is playing left. They said
yes. I'm saying someone needs to play defense.
So you think Santander's at left, Vladdy's at first?
No, Santander's going to be in right, from what I saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that George was taking a bunch of stuff. Maybe just so they can do.
So either way, though, the outfield is going to be opening day probably Santander, Loperfido, George. That's a lock. And then I think DH, it could either be whoever wins the job. Like you got the Wagners in the mix. You got Arelvis in the mix for DH. You got Schneider in the mix as well. I think the DH is up for grabs. And then third base, I don't know how you do not play Ernie.
I agree. It's like
And they
I
should.
think Wagner's the opening day DH because they're gonna face a righty from the Orioles.
Yes.
Um, and I
So
yeah,
you
it's
think
like
you think the DH is going to be a platoon of Wagner and Orelvis?
I think that would be my favorite. Yeah, to go.
I could get down with that. I could really get down with that.
It's just
Wagner
like
facing the righties.
I want Wagner. You're gonna face more righties though. It's like where is the playing time for Orelvis? If it's only against lefties, he's not gonna see that many at bats at that point. So you need one of them to totally take it. And the upside is higher with Orelvis than it is Wagner, but we saw what that style of player does with Spencer Horwitz, I think. So I don't know. It's like there's not enough infield space. There's just not.
It's crazy. There's no trade being made. Ross just has a quota of one trade a year.
But I just though the trades we want, I don't think we want Will Wagner or Relvis in them too, right?
Fair. Well,
Like, Leo can still be down.
Speak for yourself with Orelvis, but
I mean, we want someone to hit home runs at some point.
yeah,
If Vlad leaves, Orelvis is going to play first base next year.
oh my god!
Like you just have to do that, right?
That is true. Yeah.
Wow.
That is,
One of my favorite
sign
things.
him.
One of my favorite things about spring training is the insane overreactions on Twitter. Like Alan Roden has a day today, 2 for 2 in the outfield. It's like,
Okay.
that's the future right there. We
Did
got
you,
Roden.
did you see the two hits, by the way, the two doubles?
No, he looks good.
No, I'm saying no, like I wasn't that.
Wait, was that a
impressed.
Relvis that went down the line?
No, no, Relvis was the other way to the outfield.
Yeah.
Roden did have a good swing on the ball past Cassis at first, but it was the Roman Anthony fuck up in left field that he got the double
Oh
on.
yes.
Like it should have been an out. Like
Yeah,
I know it
it's
says
like-
2 for 2, two doubles,
It's
but
just it's what fandom is about, and that's why we started this podcast. It's just awesome to have the overreactions. Like
yeah,
Andres Jimenez hits a single, steals second. I tweeted from the Gate 14 account that he's going to be one of the most loved players in the Toronto Blue Jays. We're 4 innings into the season. But
I believe
did
that,
you guys notice this, by the way? This is completely off topic. The Toronto Blue Jays ownership is really diving into like the fans loving Andres Jimenez. They gave the motherfucker a bobblehead and a jersey giveaway. When have you ever seen that?
Well, they can guarantee he's going to be here at the end of the year. It's sort of the only thing that he has going for him. He'll be on the team in September, so he's getting the giveaways.
did Santander have any? I don't really look at
No.
the giveaways, really, because I saw Hoffman had something too. I'm not too dim.
I only saw they give Bassett the Freedom Convoy 500 gear. Like he had the camo t-shirt, and they gave him a basketball jersey this year, a City Connect basketball jersey.
Yeah, the cutoff sleeves. You can wear that with the Romano camo hat
Yeah,
from a couple years ago.
So I need someone to get that giveaway to wear the Romano Canada hat, which is like one of the ugliest hats universally. Like everyone agrees, ugliest hat of all time, with the Chris Bassett basketball jersey. Like one of the greatest outfits of all time. Maybe a gold chain around it, but
That was
yeah,
one of my
Andres
first
Jimenez.
Spencer tweets I remembered was the people coming from Barrie from the Freedom Convoy to get whatever the camo giveaway ticket was in 2022, I believe. Just I'll never forget that. I was like, oh fuck, that's really good.
Yeah, the giveaways are Bo Bichette stuff. They have Vladdy Silver Slugger one. They have a Snoopy thing, I believe I saw as well. Minecraft thing. There's just an insane amount of stuff. So I'm ready to dive into Andres Jimenez. I'm ready to say I'm an Andres Jimenez guy. Plays the game the right way. I talked to some guys that played with him in Cleveland, and they told me he's one of the greatest locker room guys of all time. Like just the guy that's always in good spirits, even when he's putting up 88 weighted runs created plus last year. So he's a great guy.
Gold Glover. That's one of Ross's rules, right? No dicks. no bad people in his in his space. So
Well, Ross came up with the idea to have what's his face? Anthony Bass catch the first pitch on Pride Night. Like we don't talk about that enough. Ross Atkins and the ownership, they had a board meeting and they said, let's have Anthony Bass catch the first pitch on Pride Night.
God.
That was their galaxy brain idea.
Mending fences.
That's marketing.
It is marketing 101. Yeah.
Yeah, they had to fire him after that. They
Yeah.
did have to fire him.
Oh, what a year that was. We had Dave Hudgens blocking me while I was on the field on Twitter. That was such a good year. 2023, we took it for granted.
Zoobs, what are you looking forward to most this season?
Oh man, honestly, it feels like a season finale. I need to know if we're going to another season of this. It's like I can't remember ever in my life one season so clearly being make or break. It is like everything is on the table if they're not very good. And I still think they have a really high ceiling of a team, but like if they aren't good, both the two-star players, the president and the GM are probably gone.
God.
Like it's gonna be it's gonna be crazy at the end of this year. Or it goes quite well. And people say, you know what? They did build a pretty good core of a team and they did supplement them with money and they I don't think the fans are ever going to be that reasonable. But
Yeah.
you know, it can go. They came so close to going well. It should go well once for this core. So it has so much hanging over it. I'm really looking forward to seeing where it plays out.
Can I?
This is drama.
I want to be the voice of reason because I am a lot of the times just the emotional one. This is rare. Let's take a step back from the Vladdy thing. This is the off-season changes for the Toronto Blue Jays. Who they acquired: Santander, Jimenez, Scherzer, Hoffman, Garcia, Sandlin. They lost only 3 players. Romano coming off one of his worst seasons. Pastrami elbow. Spencer Horwitz, pretty good. He was good.
Good player.
Genesis Cabrera. That's it. Lost 3, picked up 6 decent ball players to make this team better. This was a good offseason. I'm sick and tired of people complaining about this offseason. This is a better offseason than a lot of teams in the game of baseball have had. That's just what it is.
Yeah, the problem is a lot of teams in the East had off seasons.
Well, yeah.
Right.
Fair.
That's what keeps happening to them.
I think they better than the Orioles offseason.
Yeah, but the Orioles
Obviously.
offseason is the biggest disaster
Better
of
than
all.
the Rays as well, I think.
Yeah,
Ray Scott Jansen. Come on now.
Yeah.
and
Jansen.
Hassan. Their free agent pickups were pretty good, but they're just going to do the Rays thing again. Who are you most worried about in the East, Zoobs?
The Yankees, it just remains a constant state. I had forgotten some of the things. Like I had forgotten that they did Bellinger, and I had forgotten that they had done Goldschmidt at first. Something about that just really annoys me. It was just like, not that I think either of those guys are great or that they will be well, but just something about them being added to the Yankee pixie dust and the like make or break of it all really annoys me. So yeah, it's probably the Yankees just from all the scars.
Have you seen the Dominguez pop-up scenarios?
Yeah.
It rocks. I listen, Cody Bellinger, take a step back from the fact that he's a Yankee and I hate the Yankees. When he is good, he is so fucking sick. His swing is all power, just drop the back shoulder, elevate, celebrate. When he is good, he rocks. That's just what it is, unfortunately. And with our luck, he's probably going to be good this year. That's just what it is.
Yeah,
Feels like
that's how those things go. Can we take our guess at who we think opening day starter is going to be?
I think pretty clear, right?
If it's not Kevin Gausman, it'd be insane, right?
You could do Barrios if you really wanted to, but yeah, I lean Big Kev.
It was Barrios last year, right?
Yeah, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it?
He gave up the home run to Yandy like the
Yes,
first inning,
and then he just lights out. And we said they're going to be a World Series contender after that game.
That is probably one of the worst aging podcasts we've ever done.
Oh, for sure. And the thing is, we're going to do it again this year if they win opening day against the Orioles. But
Absolutely.
I'm ready to dictate that opening series. I got my sniper pointed at that opening day series. Must win series. Kick off the year, beat the bum Orioles, take 2 or 3 or whatever it is, or 3 or 4. Why not? Whoa, now let's get crazy. But I am so goddamn excited to watch Max Scherzer pitch, even at spring training, Zoobs. Like I know you're a big baseball guy. We're all big baseball guys. Max Scherzer objectively rocks, and Buck Martinez said he's in World Series form, which is we got to talk about that after this.
We have a couple Buck things to talk
How
about.
crazy, how fired up are you, Zoobs, to watch Mad Max Scherzer pitch for our Toronto Blue Jays? I can't believe I'm still saying that.
It's cool. I took a lot of flack for it, being excited for it at work, but that's okay. People were like,
They don't know shit.
They don't get
I
it.
understand. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be cool, man. It doesn't always happen that a guy like that makes a tour and makes a stop, and it does. It's so hard to not like slide into the intangibles, unmeasurable, for a team that at not long ago, it was like they never take anything seriously, and they're not. And then last year was like the vibes are really bad until the roommates came up, until the Buffalo guys sort of had the impact in the team. Scherzer's a guy you like. He just seems like it's great to be around him if you're a serious ball player, and it seems like a guy that elevates people. And I think hearing you say that about Jimenez is the same sort of situation. I think they've done a good job of bringing in guys that recognize this could be a very good team and hopefully be some guidance. And also, like, it's going to be a joy to watch him pitch. So anything we get from him, I'm happy. And I'm very happy. One last thing, that Ross continues to sign guys who are older than me, getting harder and harder to do.
You can wear the jersey respectfully. You can wear the jersey and be like, he's older than me. I'm a fan of his.
Yes,
you know?
right on the.
What's
right
the cutoff age, do you think, wearing another player's jersey? Like, I think once I hit 30, like 3 years from now, I'm going to have to just go the blank jersey if I do. I'm not really a jersey guy. I know I'm wearing one right now. It's a Luplo one. But
Sure.
I think
It's different.
30.
You're friends with the guys.
Yeah. I think 30 maybe. Would that be it?
Yeah.
It all depends, right? Yeah, if you're wearing the 18-year-old's jersey as a 40-year-old, like I'll kind of second look it. I'm walking myself back from that take though. Maybe I'm being too poopy pants. So
I've long said the player shouldn't be younger than you. It's weird if they're younger than you.
I still
I only have one. I only have.
What's that one? Oh, what's that?
Travis
Lunchbox here. What's his?
Yeah.
Travis Snyder.
Lunchbox Hero.
I have that in
Great
Pirates
jersey.
as well. I have that in Pirates 23. It's gorgeous.
Goat man.
The only ones I
Future.
have is
We have another thing. I'm just kind of reading through. We're not going to do the listener questions, but some of them were good. Another one talking about Gosman adding 30 pounds of muscle.
Oh, let's talk about this.
Is he
I
holding
have
15-pound weights?
I have objectively said Buck Martinez is the GOAT for all of, like, he should be on the level of excellence.
For sure.
Keegan has an entire chapter about him in a book that I will read. I promise, Keegan, I'll read it about Buck Martinez. But some guys got to know when to walk away. Okay. And this is my thing with Buck. When I heard on the broadcast that Max Scherzer is in World Series form on February 22nd, and then right after him going, Kevin Gausman looks insane in bullpens, and he's gained 30 pounds of muscle, that's when I got to take a step back and be like, what are we talking about here, Buck? Like, what are we really, really talking about here? That he said the Yankees are going to miss Juan Soto. I mean, obvious, like, it's a great take, but I mean, that's like an obvious take, but it's just some of the things he spews is just insane, right? Like, that's not me being mean. It's like, what are you talking about?
It's on a less form, but did you guys watch anything Lee Corso did on game day this year?
Yes.
Where
Yeah.
my dad would come up to me and be like, "Oh, like they should probably take him off there about soon." Buck's not there yet. So I like the Kevin Biggio having some sex. I still find it pretty funny at this point for Buck.
It's harmless. It's harmless burgers. Like, it's harmless lies that he's saying.
Yes.
But it's like,
I miss Tabler for that.
He
Tabler would just lie
compared-
about conversations he had.
Would he?
Oh, you'd be like, I was talking to him today about. It's like, there's no chance. There's no chance you were having conversations with that guy about that.
But
Very
Buck told a
strange
story yesterday that was just very clearly a tweet I had seen on Twitter a day before, and like he didn't have to credit anyone. He just told the story like he was there, but it's like, oh, that's so.
I respect the shit out of that crowd. He said yesterday that Andres Jimenez is going to remind a lot of Blue Jays fans of Roberto Alomar. Roberto Alomar
We can't be saying that anymore.
was an insane hitter.
Hall of
by the
Famer,
way.
though.
Like, we
He's
could talk
funny.
about off-field stuff with Roberto. I mean, infamously, I went to Palladium with him when I was 12 because my dad wrote a fucking letter to the Roberto Alomar family, and we went to his jersey retirement. We were like on the field with his family, and he took us to Palladium. But like, let's just pump the brakes a little bit here with the comparisons to Roberto Alomar, for Christ's sakes. The guy is a Hall of Famer.
The only reason he said that is because they play second base. Nothing about the play. They're just like, oh, we had a good second baseman here once.
Yeah, it's Roberto Alomar. Ever heard of him? Ever heard of a little bit canceled? He's a guy that's canceled now, but ever heard of him? It was wild stuff from Buck, and I'm looking forward to some of this. Like, we sometimes can't hear it because we stream a lot of the time, but some of the stuff he says is what was your thing, Zoo? It was like, was the Kevin Gausman 30 pounds thing like, what in the, because it's literally impossible. He would look like nothing like he looks right now.
Legs feed the wolf, right? That's how that goes. His legs do look strong. Awesome. Listen, it's an entertainment product. Buck is entertaining you and trying to keep you from changing the channel in the middle of a afternoon in February. Because if you were a psycho if you were watching at all, which I appreciate the people that are watching with me. It's great. It's great. I miss Tabler because like obviously Dan Schulman is excellent at his job. He almost helps Buck too much to be like an analyst. When the booth was Buck and Tabby, and Tabby had no interest in trying to keep Buck on course, just blabbing away, making up stories, but it was great. That's the good stuff. Anything but Eric Smith on the radio.
Unfortunately, that's run its course. But
I've one last question here. This is from Brett on Twitter. Does the countrywide World Series parade start in Vancouver or St. John's this year?
St. John's,
east to west time zones.
Yeah. You can't again. That's always east to west. I think we get a float. By the way, if they win a World Series, I'm comfortable saying Gate 14 will have a float. I'm comfortable. But going back to the Buck and Ben Schulman thing, it's like and I want someone to edit this picture for me. It's like the broadcasting version of Bill Belichick and his girlfriend.
Nice.
You know? It's like, why are they together? Like, what do they have in common? You know what I mean? It's like Buck Martinez is Bill Belichick, legend, and Ben Schulman is just like the young kid that is just...
John, that was your best analogy of the show.
It's like, what do these dudes talk about during commercial break? That's what I want to know.
It's like food and what time they woke up.
Sure.
We're not talking. Do you think Ben Schulman has never fished in his life? And that is what Buck Martinez loves is fishing. Like, they have never talked about that before. So it's just great stuff. It's just the radio. I can't do it. People were saying, listen to the radio today. I couldn't do it. I am just going to stick to the television and watching it while I drive on Bell 5, not watching the game while I drive, having just the TV playing on the phone while I'm driving. That's what
you're good. You watch, man. Don't lie to people.
Yeah, well, allegedly. I don't want to get imprisoned for anything. But I listen. I'm excited for this season. If that's a crime, then lock me up. I get called slurs when I say I think his team's going to be good. So I'm ready to dunk on some people.
We all get in on over 76.5 wins?
Yeah,
hammered it.
Are you on 76 or 78, Zoobs?
I'm on 76.5.
Oh,
I'm on 76.5. And then I had my first moment of like, that could go wrong. Literally the Vladdy quote. I was like, you know what? That could actually backfire on me. Unlikely, but there is a everybody leaves in September path. But
we do need John Schneider managing opening day.
Yes.
I don't care who manages game 2, baby. 1 month from today.
Yeah.
From today.
We haven't got a taste of Santander yet. I'm looking forward to that.
No.
Do you think? I hope we don't get it tomorrow because the Tigers are a poverty organization that don't broadcast any of their games. So tomorrow's game isn't broadcasted.
I have a good take here. They didn't make Vladdy go to Boston because they didn't think he'd come back on the bus.
Wow. That's a really good take.
So, it's like, let him see Mini Fenway. Yeah.
It's like when you it's like when you go on a trip and you're just like to your buddies, I'm going to stay here for a couple more weeks. Like, you guys kind of just...
You guys can go home. I'm going to change my flight.
It's like the jobless friend that just has parent money, and he's like, you know what? You guys go home. I think I'm going to stay here a couple more weeks. I'll meet you guys in a couple of weeks. That's what that is. So I'm glad.
We get another week of ball to watch and some narratives to spin, and that's it. I think that's all I got, John.
Yeah. Should we drop the Gate 14 news, Avery?
No,
it's fair. We won't drop it yet. But listen, next time we talk to you guys, me and Avery will have our toes in the water, ass in the sand, not a worry in the world, but a cold beer in our hand. Life is good today. Zach Brown Band lyrics right there. We'll be in beautiful Dunedin, Florida, unless our airplane provider
don't do that.
Shuts down again the week of the trip. But I'm looking forward to it. In-person podcast we got Keegan coming on, tons of players. We're going to a gun range and wearing all camo. Awesome. It is going to be electric content. So stay tuned for that, man. And Zeus, we appreciate you coming on.
You're the best.
Man.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure. We had to ditch YJ's because he's pissing me off on Twitter with his troll bullshit. But it was always the Zoobs to come on the
pleasure,
podcast.
guys.
We appreciate you, Zoobs.
What an honor it is to be asked at all. Yeah, I had an absolute blast. Anytime for you guys. Are you kidding?